Good evening. Tonight we have a couple of special guests again. They're from the township government. People don't know what the township government's all about. But first, let's introduce yourself. Who are you?
My name is Paul Hinds. I'm a York Township trustee.
Dan Kordik, York Township Clerk.
Okay, we'll talk to Paul first. And what is your background? Why are you qualified?
Well, kind of the reason I got involved in politics is I went away to school, and I'm a lifelong Villa Park resident, and I went away to college at Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Really got involved in politics there, came back home, said, well, how can I get involved? What can I do at a local level to help people? My parents have always instilled in me to help people. So I started joining different groups. I joined the Elmhurst Elks Lodge. They help people. I've been with the Relay for Life. And so there's different organizations, charitable organizations that help people. And then from there stemmed that there was an opening at the York Township trustee, and I said, well, what does the township do? Most people ask, what do the town, what functions of the townships? Well, one of it is general assistance, helping people. So I said, well, what a better choice than to run for township trustee. So 20 years ago, 1993 was the first time I ran for York Township trustee. I won my first race, and I've run every 4 years since then. And I found out really the township does help with general assistance, with the seniors, with the youth. They help a lot of people in York Township. So that was one of the goals that I've always wanted to do, and it helped with all the civic organizations I belong to also.
Okay. How about you, Dan?
I am a resident of Villa Park since 1987. I've been a resident of York Township for 50 years. My parents bought their first and only home in York Township back in 1962. I attended Elmhurst Public Schools, went on to the University of Illinois, have a bachelor's degree in accounting, passed the CPA, went on to law school. Took a job with a large firm, but wanted to come back to York Township. So I wound up actually turning down 3 offers to be downtown, to be in DuPage County. Bought my first house in Villa Park in 1987. Raised my family in Villa Park. My kids are now 29, 26, and 20. So proud to call Villa Park home.
You don't look 50 years old. What is your responsibility to the trustee?
Well, and that's a great question, because everybody asks. I tell them, oh, I'm a York Township trustee, and they look at you and go, well, what does a York Township trustee do? Well, one of the primary goals is truly making sure is they used to be called auditors, and in the past years, and that's exactly what we do. One of the main functions of the board is the audit the books, actually to come up with a budget, come up with a property tax levy, and then make sure that those funds are spent wisely and according to the budget. So our number one goal, make sure that the money that we do take in is spent in the right line items. I mean, we meet monthly to audit the bills, make sure that they're paid out of the right accounts, that they have been budgeted, those fees were budgeted for, and that all the money is spent wisely. And that's our primary goal. I also often say we're like the board of directors. There's 4 trustees and a supervisor. So the York Township board consists of 5 people. The 4 trustees audit the books, make sure everything is online, set policy for the township. The supervisor then is responsible for implementing those policies on a day-to-day basis. He's really a on-hands daily operation, make sure that everything is going according to what the board hope to do.
Well, my notes don't make sense then, because if you only got 4 boards and a supervisor, what is he doing here?
he writes down everything that we do. So that's
okay. What's your responsibility?
The duties of the township clerk include, and it's similar to a village clerk at the township level, but I do keep all the minutes for all the township meetings. I'm the custodian of records, and our records go back to the 1850s. And in fact, during the meetings, just to bring some of that rich history that our township has, I've been having, I call it my historical tidbits, and I'll read something from the minutes from the 1800s or the early 1900s. That's been interesting for the board and for the public. I'm the FOIA officer, the Freedom of Information Act officer. So if someone wants to inspect public records or wants a copy of public records, I respond to those requests. I'm the local election official for the consolidated election at the township level. So for the upcoming April election, there was a caucus of both the Democratic and Republican parties, and they filed their election paperwork with my office at the township, and then I certified the ballot to the DuPage County Election Commission. I publish legal notices. If there's a bid that goes out, I publish those. In fact, since I've been the township clerk, I've actually moved that to a paper that gave us a much better rate than had previously been given, just to try to save the taxpayers those monies. Publish legal notices. For example, if the township were to levy more than 5% over the prior year, we would have to publish notice of that to the taxpayers. Now, ever since I've been the township clerk,
we've always allowed the clerk. The clerk has never had to do that because we have never levied over 5%.
Yeah, and that's the exact point I was going to make. Yeah, the township is always leveled under the 5%. I run the annual town meeting. That's another thing.
Okay, when is the annual town meeting? How often?
The annual town meeting is once
I think it
a
may
year.
be in the titles.
No question.
Yeah.
No hard question.
Yeah. The annual town meeting is generally the second Tuesday of April. But this year, since the second Tuesday of April happens to be Election Day, April 9th, the annual town meeting this year will be a week later, April 16th. And at the annual town meeting, actually the township clerk is the only township elected official operating in any official capacity at the annual town meeting, because what is voted on at the annual town meeting is voted on by the electors. That is, any registered voter of York Township has the right to vote upon any issues that come before the annual town meeting. And there are certain things that the electors, the citizens, the ordinary citizens, have the power to determine. For example, if the township were to want to sell some real estate, some property, it is the electors, the ordinary citizens, that would have to approve selling real estate. So there are various statutory duties that come before the annual town meeting, and it really is kind of a drawback to the old days of New England, when everyone in the community, the village, would come together for a meeting and vote on issues regarding their particular town.
Okay.
Right, it's the old town, as the title is, it's a town meeting, and it's really the electors who come in, and there are certain things that they can vote on, and certain things that the township board, like selling real estate or selling even used equipment, has to be approved by the electors and not by us, the board.
How often do you meet outside of the annual town meeting then?
So the board meets monthly. There's a couple of months that we meet twice when we get into the budget season. I mean, when we're working on the budget, then we throw in a couple of extra meetings because there's just more things to do. But basically, monthly we're meeting to audit the bills for that previous month, so before we can approve them for payment.
I hear all the time, why do we need the township government if it's 150 years old? Why do we still need it? You know.
And that's it's a valid question that people ask, because people really don't know township government unless it really affects your life. And I guess it's like any other form of government. How many times do you go to a park board or to your school board or even a village board meeting?
Every week I go.
And you are unique because most citizens, and myself included, do not go to all the different forms of government, their meetings. But you do if it affects you. And township government, the primary reason was for general assistance, or the help the needy, the help the homeless, the help the people that are out of work. And the township still provides those services today. And I guess that's with the economy lately, that's what we've seen more of. We've seen a rise in people using the food pantry. We have a food pantry. It's 100% donated food. So no tax dollars go to it, but we're the central clearinghouse, so we can let people donate money to us. We also have people that donate a bag of food, or we can go to the Northern Illinois Food Bank, and we can buy food for like $3 worth of food for $1. So I mean, it's a great deal, but it's all through donations. Nothing is with taxpayer money. But going back to the general assistance portion, I mean, we're finding people now, and I've talked to people, and I'm sure Dan, and I'm sure you have too, people that have worked their whole lives, then all of a sudden find themselves out of work, and they don't know what to do. I mean, they've never been out of work. They've always had a job. They've always had somewhere to go to. Well, now your electric bill is coming due, your gas bill, you're finding your mortgage, and you just can't find work. Even part-time work is not giving you enough money. You can come to the township. Besides the food pantry, our general assistants will help you with the rent. We also, you can sign up for LIHEAP, and that's Low Income Energy Housing Assistance Program. It's run by the state, but we have the applications at the township. So you can come in, you can fill that out. And I guess the most important issue is when they do come to us, we give them some hope, because they're basically at the end of the line. They're saying, I just can't find a job. I want to work. My family, my house, I need to heat it. I need the food. And we provide that hope. Well, before they get on to the state programs, we're able to give them some hope, give them food, sign them up for the LIHEAP, And it isn't all through taxpayers' dollars either. We partner with Catholic Charities, with the Salvation Army. So there's all kinds of different working together at the township. But the primary goal is general assistance. And
If I come to you for help, does my name become public record?
it does not. Everything is the general assistance. Your name will not appear on any of the audit sheets or anything else that we make public. So it is 100% confidential. We do not advertise it. You get a card if you're using the food pantry. You can come into the food pantry where our hours are 8:30 to 4:30 every day. You can fill out an application. You get a card. You get a food card, and you can come and use our food pantry once a month. And there's other food pantries here in Villa Park, Lombard. They have other food pantries. So just because you're using ours, there's other food pantries that you can also use throughout the week. Yeah.
And the township has, as far as public assistance, the township has been doing that for over 100 years. Even looking back at some of the records from 1900, they would reimburse a doctor who had called upon someone in need. But the township has also adapted to modern times. For example, we have a senior transportation program that obviously wasn't around 100 years ago. We have senior activities as well. So the township has adapted to the needs of its citizens. And the township also has the assessor's office, which values the property. So the
all
township,
properties in the township. So that would be whether you're in the village of Villa Park or if you're unincorporated. It's all properties.
Right. So the township has been around for over 150 years, is still doing some of the things it was doing then, but it has adapted to modern times and continues to suit the needs of the citizens.
One of your best customers used to donate to you quite a bit. Was one of the oldest companies in Villa Park, Ovaltine. They used to take good care of us over there.
They did. We miss Ovaltine. I mean, certainly it's like, and I miss the smell of the chocolate, or the fiddle-faddle when they were actually cooking it. So
now that's going back to Villa Park. On my tax bill, I pay part of the township fee. Does that money from the township just go to the highways in the township, or does it come back to Villa Park somehow?
It actually comes back. There's two different sections. You have the York Township portion of the levy that's on your tax bill. You also have the York Township Highway Department.
I pay both of them.
And you pay both of them, and we appreciate that. Your money is well spent. The portion that goes to the Highway Department, actually 50% of the road and bridge, and there's different funds when you have a levy. The funds that go to road and bridge, which is the portion that you're paying to the Highway Department, 50% of that comes back to the villages. So it's based on the assessment, and which goes back to the assessor's office if it's fair and equitable assessment. So Elmhurst, Villa Park, Lombard, Oak Brook Terrace, all the villages in York Township will receive 50% of the road and bridge proportionate to what they're paying in. So Villa Park, the residents of Villa Park do receive money from the township's money that's collected for roads.
Okay. How about the other one we pay into?
The township portion of it is going into general assistance into the assessor's office. We also pay for the assessment, so we're also funding the assessor's office. So those are the two issues that are the two portions that residents of Villa Park benefit from having York Township being there, but you're not getting a direct payment back to the village of Villa Park.
I don't think the people in Villa Park understand that benefits are available to them. I mean, they need help.
And that's why we certainly appreciate you having us here today, because that is the key. They always say, well, we're maybe the best kept secret. Well, we try to get out as much as we can. I mean, we're certainly out at the Lions and the JCs and the Rotaries, but trying to explain to people that, yes, York Township is there. We're here for the residents of Villa Park. Come out.
There's a common misconception that it's only for unincorporated areas, which is not the case. It is for all of York Township, and We've seen many Villa Park residents at some of the senior activities.
So. Most of us seniors, I put that, if they did need help, they're ashamed to come to talk to you all. That's why I ask about if they're named as public records.
Right, and that's what you see in the general assistance, because they really are ashamed to come, and they should never be, and you should never be ashamed to come and ask for help. But I mean, I believe it was all three of us that were raised. It's like, you fend for yourself, basically. It's like, you make your life and you make your lot in life and work hard. But that's what we're seeing with the economy now, that work hard. Well, they were working hard. Their company left, whether it was Ovaltine or many other companies that left them. It isn't that they don't want to work, they just can't find work. please come to the township. Our number is 630-620-2400. Call them if you need help. Like I say, it's not public knowledge. We will sit you down. We'll make appointments, go over what benefits we can give you, what benefits you can sign up for. I mean, that's the other key. I mean, we're a clearinghouse of information. The township doesn't have all the answers, but we can help you get the answers and help you get more, whether it's LIHEAP, whether it's Catholic Charities that could help. I mean, there's all different. The Salvation Army is a great partner with us, and so we're always willing to help. But yes, people have to come see us.
One of your duties as a trustee is to reduce my taxes, I hope.
And that is a goal, is to keep taxes within the range. We do have to operate. We do have to levy a tax in order to generate money for general assistance. But our key is find the most cost-effective way to run government. I mean, we don't want to curtail or cut out programs, but then we also don't want to have waste in those programs. So that is the role of the board. The board has to sit down and say, okay, what are our programs and how cost effective can we produce these? One of our greatest assets are our volunteers. I mean, you talk about the seniors. We have 2 chefs. We have meals. We have senior nutrition that they actually come to the township, or we have Meals on Wheels. There's only 2 chefs that prepare all the food. All the rest are volunteers. The Meals on Wheels, which for anybody who's shut in that can't drive or can't get out, the meals are delivered daily by volunteers. They're not paid staff. Same thing with the people working the trays. If you actually do come to the township and eat in-house, volunteers are serving. We have the greatest volunteers in the world serving the food. One of our ladies is 97 years old, and she's there every day serving food to our residents, to our seniors.
And because we have so many great volunteers, you asked about taxes. The tax burden from the township is very low. Like I said, I've never had to publish that the levy was being increased more than 5%. Never. Yeah. And the trustees have run a very tight budget.
I think the biggest secret over there is we don't know about it. Truthfully, the people of town here, they don't know about what the township government does. And the only thing you hear from out of the people who are against it is, but that's do away with the township. Well, if they ever did do away with the township, who would take it over?
Well, and that's a very good question, and now those are always issues. Okay, well, let's get rid of the government, but then who picks up? Right? Who's going to do general assistance? Yeah. I mean, and where is that clearinghouse going to be? I mean, who's going to pick up the unincorporated roads? I mean, so no matter what you do, if the township goes away, some other form of government has to come in and take it over. You can't just let the roads go away and not be plowed or whatever. Somebody else is going to have to take that. So now you have to look at, is it cost effective for another unit of government to come in and step in and do what the township is doing? Mm-hmm. And as Dan has said, your total tax bill for the highway and the township is less than 2% of your total tax bill. So
at the annual town meeting, we have reports. The supervisor gives a report of the activities of the township for the last year. The senior nutrition gives a report. The food pantry gives a report. Transportation gives a report. And I remember a couple years back there was someone that was kind of skeptical about township government and what it does. And after the annual town meeting, she came up to me. I never realized all these wonderful services and programs that the township did. And she said, okay, I'm going to have my mom call for this, and her neighbor was going to call for another. So it is.
What's sad about that, Dan, is truthfully, they don't call. They don't call back for the help. They don't call back to, you have the stuff available to them, and they're complaining, moan and groan, but they won't come get help.
Well, and that's always right. And no matter where we go, we speak. We try to get out in the public and inform them. But right, it still comes down to they have to call us. Right, they have to come to us, and we offer it. We try to inform them what we're doing. But truly, the public has to come to. They have to make the call. That's true.
You've been involved in over 20 years doing this.
I've been there 20 years. It's I never thought when I was elected in 1993 that I would still be there. But it's
you get a salary. We all know that. But why would you volunteer anything else? You volunteer your time in this job. Why would you do it again?
Well, as I said, my parents always instilled in me that you should help other people. That I've been blessed in my life of always having a job, always having a house to live in, food, and so not everybody is that fortunate. So, like I said, that is the reason why I joined a lot of the civic organizations. I mean, it's you're helping, whether it's the Elks helping the crippled children, or you have the East DuPage Relay for Life, which is an American Cancer Society. Those are all different things that I just think you should help other people that aren't as fortunate as us running for the township. And after you get into the township and you sit there and see what we actually do, I want to guarantee that the township will be there for the next generation and for the next group coming up. And so once I was elected, saw what we actually did, said, well, we really need to promote this. We need to make sure that we're cost effective, that we continue to provide services, and that it doesn't go away. I mean, that's one of my goals.
And you belong to many organizations. You belong to Lions Club. You belong to a few others. And especially today with the membership going downhill instead of up here, they can't get members. You guys are still volunteering and other. Why do you do that?
Well, I enjoy public service. When my kids were little, I was on the school board here in Villa Park from 1988 to 95. I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 10 and a half years. Those are both strictly voluntary.
Some of the people in town do not know, but one of your other members who used to be on the school board, Maureen Becker, passed away a few months ago. Yes. She's another very good, but she volunteered too, Yeah,
and that's, a community like Villa Park relies upon its citizens to volunteer. Our township relies upon our volunteers to provide services, and that's what you do when you live in a town. You help each other out.
But, all the volunteer we all do, it's good fellowship, good friends, and it's good for the village too, and everything else.
It is, and we have met great people, such as yourself. I mean, being out in the public, I mean, you meet some people that you wouldn't necessarily meet, and they are truly, and they have their heart in the right spot. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, you do it for the money." Well, we don't do it for the money. Believe me, it's you get a small pittance, but nobody does this job for the money.
I do the TV for the money. We don't get nothing.
They'll double your salary next year. So, but you don't do this for the money. You don't spend the hours that you do, and that's the same as any board, whether it's a school board, a village board. I mean, you do it for your community. Okay. You do it for your fellow citizens.
How about the other people on your ticket running over there? We had got some guy by the name of John Valley on here.
John Valley, who is, as I mentioned before, he's the supervisor. He's basically the chairman of the board, you could say, and we're the four trustees, Barb Finn, Tony Cazone, and John Morrissey, and myself are the four incumbents. We're all running for re-election again. But we set the policy, and then we say, John, you take it now, and you implement it and make sure it works. And John Valley does a great job as supervising, and it truly is the correct title, supervisor. He is the supervisor. So he supervises the day-to-day operations, making sure that the senior nutrition is working, that the food pantry is up and going, that all the different senior activities, the youth programs, and we haven't really touched too much on the youth programs. And
I don't think you had any more. I thought
we do have, and before you used to have restitution, and many people, by our older population, will remember that the township had restitution, and actually, if you saw on your curb, you'd have your number of your house painted on the curb. They took that away, but that was the courts. If you were a juvenile defender and you were found guilty, part of the public policy was to send you to Villa Park. You would do different projects for the village. The courts have done away with that, and so that part of the youth program has gone away. But we try to encourage, and through the township, we do have a advisory committee. It's a senior advisory committee and a youth advisory committee, and they actually go through and come up with plans of what is the youth looking at. I mean, we've helped with soccer down in York Center Park, the Brandywine Parliament Square area. We've helped with and they're basically in the York Center Park district, but we'll sponsor so they can go to a baseball camp, or we'll sponsor them to go to the soccer league. Mm-hmm. So we have such great park districts in York Township that we really do not want to become a park district, or the youth program shouldn't become that, because Villa Park and the Rec Center and all the other different villages have great park districts. So we're not trying to reinvent that wheel. But for Parliament Square, for Brandywine, where maybe they need a little bit of help, they need some funding, we will fund some of their projects so that for their children can participate in things that maybe Villa Park is doing.
And just to add, in additional offices at the township are the highway commissioner, currently held by Dick Schroeder.
Well, he was.
You may have seen him before.
He was on before you tonight. But.
And we've got Deanna Wilkins as the assessor. She's also on the ballot. And the April 9 election, we see a lot of signs around Villa Park for the candidates for village president, the candidates for village trustee. So the election on April 9th is not only the village elections, but the township elections, as well as school boards, high school district and elementary district, District 45, and the College of DuPage. So there are many important offices to be elected on April 9th. So please get out and vote.
Do you know when early voting is, when they can start voting?
Early voting starts March 25th, which is which is a Monday, and it ends on April 6th, which is a Saturday.
Okay.
It's a Saturday before the election.
Yeah, they've actually there's been some changes about early voting, absentee voting. So now it's almost easiest to call it vote by mail. You can actually mail in an application to the election commission, and they will mail you a ballot. You don't have to have a reason to vote absentee anymore. You can actually vote from home if you need to, if you're not able to get out on election day. And so then that's in addition to the early voting, where you actually go to the early voting location.
And the two early voting locations in York Township are at the York Township Mall, and it's in that convenience center. So it's over by, if everybody knows where Joe's Tailor is, and over on that, it's in that strip mall. It's not in the actual mall itself. And then also Elmhurst City Hall. So those are the two locations in York Township. But you can also go to the county building in Wheaton at 421 North County Farm and vote there too at the election commission. So those are basically your three options. But yes, vote by mail has become, it's no longer called absentee voting. It's vote by mail because you no longer have to be absent on April 9. You just for convenience, you can vote by mail.
We're doing the show on March 18th. On March 23rd, you have meet the candidates again. It's the VFW in Villa Park. All the candidates going to be there?
I think all of us are going to be. At least I should say the township.
Some
candidates.
of the township candidates.
Right.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah.
And I will be there. So I believe most of us, they were all planning on being there. So it's a great look. Also another avenue to get out the message that here's what the township does. And
the address is 39 East St. Charles, next to Jewel, and it's going to be at 10 a.m. in the morning.
10 a.m. Right, Saturday the 23rd.
And you're going to feed us good?
Actually, it's put on by the Women's Club, so I'm hoping that they will probably have some sweet rolls and something else. So yeah, we'll look forward to meeting everybody there.
Okay. We have about 2 minutes, two minutes to go right now. I'm going to give you both 1 minute just to tell people about yourself one more time, and then we'll give the other guy a chance too. So I get a chance, Dan. You go first.
Okay. Well, as I've been a resident of Villa Park since 1987. Served on the school board. Served on the Planning and Zoning Commission. In fact, when Ray Rupp Search formed the Vision 2000 committee, she asked me to be the chairman of that committee, and that led to new streets and sewers back in 2000. And I know that topic came up again at the recent village candidate forum.
Yes, it was.
Been active in my parish at St. Alexander. Been an elector there since 1993. I'm a member of the Elmhurst Lions Club. Have my law practice in Elmhurst, in York Township. So proud to be from Villa Park, and would be proud to continue to serve as your York Township clerk.
We can't take sponsors on this show, but what kind of attorney are you in Elmhurst? What kind of cases you take?
I do civil litigation, so I'm to me going to court's more fun than reading a contract, but I'll do that too for you if you're selling your house.
That's enough now. We don't get
no
paid.
Commercials. That's right. We're going to be interrupted for a commercial interruption here. It's like, well, actually, my name is Paul Hinds. I'm a York Township trustee. I'm lifelong. I grew up in Villa Park. Went to Washington School. For everybody, it's now a condo building. Went to Timothy Christian High School in Elmhurst. Graduated, went on, came back to town, and got involved. I mean, I found out that, hey, you have to get involved in your community. So came back. I was also on the Vision 2000 committee. It's like I think it's time now again for getting our streets again. I mean, we look around, and that's one of the complaints they say. Well, do you get York Township money? Well, yes, you do. Portions of York Township money to get your roads fixed. But I'm running for re-election again to make sure that the township government is vital and economically sound, and so we can continue to provide the services that we have over the years. So again, I want to thank you for having us here.
We don't want to cut you off,
but that's all right.
That's why we let Dan go.
He had his commercial,
so he when he got a chance to talk.
Yeah,
but thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you, Dennis, for having us.
Folks, it's your responsibility. Get out and vote this time, will you please?
Yes, please.
Thank you.